Did you know that the question, "Tell me about yourself," is asked in more than 91% of job interviews worldwide? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you the perfect tips. First, I'll tell you the 3 elements you should mention when answering this question in a job interview. And then, in the second part, part B of the video, I'll give you a complete script so you can structure your "Tell me about yourself" answer. And, of course, make the recruiter like your profile and hire you. Hi, how are you? I'm Ramilo Gutierrez. This is the Job Room channel. I'm going to give you these super important tips in this video, so pay close attention. Let's get started. Part A of the video, the general tips. First element, when answering or creating your introduction in a job interview. This is what I call the PPP element, which stands for past, present, and plans. So it's very important when you mention it and the recruiter asks, "Tell me a little about yourself," that you answer very briefly. I'll show you in part B of the video, in the script. A little about your past, your professional background, your main learnings, and where you stood out the most professionally. And it's really good if you tailor this according to the position you're applying for. For example, if the position is for an environmental engineer. So, talk a little about your past. Where did I learn? Environmental engineer? Which college did I attend? What kind of achievement, maybe, did I have during my internship? This is very important when answering this "Tell me about yourself" question. Talk a bit about the present. Mention courses you're taking, important updates, things you're aiming for at this stage of your career. And it's also very important throughout the interview to make connections with the job position. So, I'll give you an example. This environmental engineer, they will have to work a lot with the area of hydroelectric power generation, for example, or whatever it may be. They will have to work with energy generation from falling water. So, in the present, it would be good for them to talk about courses or readings they've done on this topic, so that the recruiter or the technical manager in the area can picture you in that role. And what about your plans? So, is it good to talk about them? Future plans as well. So, in your interview, and when answering "Tell me about yourself," use the PPP elements, past, present, and plans, all focused on the position. That was the first tip. Let's move to the second. You will get a ready-made script. Try to also bring in the element I call RAF. RAF, which stands for responsibility, ambitions, and family. Responsibility, ambitions, and family. The question "Tell me about yourself" or the job interview itself. In general, obviously the focus is professional, but every recruiter, every technical manager likes to get to know a bit about the candidate as a person too. So, talking a little about the responsibilities you've had in previous jobs, sharing a bit about your professional ambitions, that's important, and also, in a light and subtle way, mentioning aspects. Family related, okay? Who do you live with? Do you have kids? What do you like to do in your free time? Of course, this isn't the most relevant thing, but recruiters prefer candidates who know how to balance their work, family, and leisure time, because that leads to consistent productivity. Third point, before I give you the ready-made script. During this "Tell me about yourself" part, have 3 personal descriptions that are strongly connected to the job position. And one of those should include social proof. So, I'm going to say it here. I'll give you another example. Now, let's say I'm applying for a job as a teacher. And I'm going to work at a preschool. And then they ask me, "Tell me about yourself." It's important that I bring up 3 personal descriptions. For example, look, about me. Here are 3 important characteristics. I'm a very patient person, I'm very kind, and I really enjoy working as part of a team. Then I would bring in some social proof. In fact, My last academic coordinator at the last school I worked at, Cairo School, mentioned in her LinkedIn testimonial about my patience and calmness in resolving classroom conflicts. So, you see that I bring up personal attributes and show social proof, like, for example, on LinkedIn. Now, I'm going to share a winning script with you. A script like this. Cool, great, for you to use when they ask, tell me about yourself. Before I share this script, maybe you want to simulate or practice a job interview where you'll be interviewed live and online, nothing pre-recorded, and get feedback. If you did well, where you did well, your best answers, where you'll need to redo the interview, we'll redo the answers together with you. It's very simple. Just reach out to me at that WhatsApp number. It's right there, international code 5511, and the number is 977065417. This WhatsApp has a link for you to click and talk directly to me, right here in the first comment of the video and also in the video description. The prices are low for subscribers. Here on the Job Room channel, and the videos here never miss or fail, there's a new video every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Alright? So, subscribe and also leave your like. Now, as for the script, if I were asked in a job interview, tell me a little about yourself, what would I do? I would say my first name, last name, age, optional, hobbies, and a bit about my family. So, for example, I'm sitting across from the interviewer, and he says, Romulo, tell me about yourself. I could say, hello, how are you? I'm Romulo Gutierrez. I'm 46 years old. My main hobby is sports. I really like surfing, and so on. And I like to do stand-up paddleboarding, and I do it regularly in Brazil and Rio de Janeiro, where I live. I have 2 wonderful daughters. I'm married, and I really enjoy going out with them, watching a good TV series. Those are the things I like. I've finished the first part of the script. Now I'm going to do the second part of the script, where I'll talk a little about my past, okay? I'll explain what I worked on, what I did, what I developed, just like I explained in part A of the video. A little about the present, like I mentioned the PPP, and a bit about my future. Then I would continue, still talking about myself, my professional past, for example, a sales manager position. I started working as a sales assistant at Apple, where I spent 2 years, and there I got 2 promotions because of the excellent numbers I achieved with the sales targets for the new phones. Look at the successful past I'm bringing to the table. In the present, one of the things I've been doing a lot is that I recently completed an MBA focused on marketing and sales management, which is giving me a new perspective on my profession. As a sales manager, here's what I'm doing now. And in the future, I see myself leading sales teams and delivering strong results for any company I work for. So, I use the PPP method in my tell me about yourself answer. Third part of the script, 3 characteristics. Personal characteristics, like I mentioned, and ideally, for one of them, you should have some social proof, for example, on LinkedIn. So here, still in my introduction, I could mention 3 important personal characteristics I have. I'm a very focused person. I pay a lot of attention to what I do. I'm a quick learner. Anything I set out to learn, I can pick up really fast. I'm also very goal-oriented. And here's an example, actually. I've even been endorsed on LinkedIn by my former boss for my ability to organize teams and achieve sales targets. Fourth part of the script, when they asked me to talk about myself, I can try to bring up the best moment of my career, a truly excellent moment. Then I could say, as a professional highlight, I was responsible for implementing a new management system. When talking about client information, try to include numbers. This increased the sales volume by up to 25% at the last company I worked for. In fact, I was even promoted because of that. So, see how the answer becomes stronger, it gains substance. And at the end of this Tell Me About Yourself presentation, I could say, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'm open to any further questions. That turned out really nice. Now I want to give you a challenge. I want you to put it here. In the comments, write your own Tell Me About Yourself script so I can review it and interact with you, okay? Now, this isn't the only question in the interview. I have a complete tutorial with the 10 most common questions asked in job interviews, and I'm going to share it with you here in this video. Go check it out. It's the mega tutorial. It's excellent preparation for your interview. Take care and see you next time. Bye-bye.